next. Tell me I'm something next. I know. Give me a little boo thing. I don't give a hoop. Doot ding doop boop burp. That little boo thing is good. I can't get that out of my head. Every day, it's like it's stuck in my head, and every day I'm grateful for it. You ever been just grateful for to have a song stuck in your head for an entire like year and a half? It's just so good. And then they put that boo thing song on every single cute puppy and kitten video on the internet now. Every time like a little animal is like bopping and walking, little boo thing is playing in the background, and I just can't get enough of it. I'm addicted to it. It's just amazing. Anyway, it is a Monday episode, MLK Monday episode here as we continue on the wonderful ways of the Epstein cover up. And in this latest gesture from this administration, we have 2,300 pages of MLK files that I'm not sure anybody outside of his own family who is trying to keep this quiet is going to care about. I will tell you what we've discovered in these files so far, and of course, update you on the latest with Epstein and how this administration is continuing to just do whatever they can to keep your eyes off of the prize, which is that Epstein file list. That's what we need to get. The smile on my face might be from this little bit of information I got from our old pals over at Netflix, who reassure your old pal Aunt that Meghan Markle's show on the platform is not only a failure, which would be nice, but a historic failure, an absolute historic failure. When we look at, hello, Christella. When we look at all the, I like that. I like whatever artwork Robin's putting together. Robin's a little artist. Robin, you're the Bob. What was his name? Oh my God, the guy who the guy with the hair. Bob. I was doing so good. I was doing really good. Oh, bless your heart, Mercury. You know, I was unsure about this shirt. This is the ADHD show, by the way. There's like 3 tones of red in it. It's very 70s-ish. But my wife likes it, so I wear it. I don't know. Maybe it's a thing. Anyway, thank you, Debbie. Robin, you're the Bob Ross of emojis, my friend. You are quite the artist. You're like, I'll put a little emoji bush here, maybe a little emoji airplane lives over here. I don't know. You're just very delicate and lovely with it. Keep it up, my friend. Don't do that, Merc. Ant loves himself enough. I'm feeling myself on this episode because, as I said, I heard from my buddies over at Netflix, and the Meghan Markle show is a historic failure. I'm going to fill you in on the details for that. And yes, Bird is right. Keep me in check, everybody. Don't let that head blow up too much. Oh, and my God, so sad. We lost Malcolm Jamal Warner, drowned on vacation with his family. Very, very tragic news. Plus some last minute information on the CBS canceling The Late Show. And maybe we'll update AOA versus JTB. We unleashed a barrage of onslaught in the clips today on him. So we got a lot to cover. We got a lot to recap and gather about and celebrate together. And we'll do it all on this episode, my friend. So I don't give a hoot if you say bird. I know. I don't know outside of You're My Little Boo thing, I don't know a word of that damn song, but it doesn't stop me from singing it. Does not stop me from singing it at the top of my lungs. Okay. Today, the Trump administration released over 2,300. God, it doesn't even matter. 200. Sorry, I said 2,300. The Trump administration released over 230,000 pages regarding the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., detailing the FBI's probe into the case. We got this information. We've had it for about 3.5 hours now, 4 hours. Obviously, even the most advanced AI can't get through 230 some odd pages in the whole thing. But I will tell you this. So far, from what I can gather, they realize that MLK's assassin right? Earl Ray there. James Earl Ray broke out of prison and went a bunch of places, including Canada, before he eventually went to Memphis and shot Martin Luther King Jr. Now you're thinking to yourself, is that all you got? Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's basically it. Out of 230,000 sheets paper, that's basically all we've been able to surmise so far. If anybody else has heard anything different, let me know, because that's basically all I got. Which leads me to the point of this story. In reality, this is yet another diversion from this administration to move people away from the idea that they are not releasing the Epstein files. And for those that are supporters of this administration who are like, well, they're asking for the grand jury thing, well, that's not enough. Okay. And we're not going to take our foot off the pedal against this administration until they give us every last bit of information that we've been asking for. And that's tremendously important. And I want to go back for a second to Friday's episode, because before Friday's episode, Tulsi Gabbard announced that there was a treasonous conspiracy theory against the Obama administration, and she was going to release documents for that. And I barely got out. I could barely get out the introduction to the story before Frankie C and everybody in the comments was all over me. I was just trying to pass along the story. But sure enough, as we sit here 4 days later, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days later, no further information has been given. We read for you that one piece of information that the day prior, nobody had found any sort of evidence that Russia hacked our election system. And then the next day, it was like all this stuff. That has been the only piece of it. So basically, the story, the intelligence community does a 180 on there was no efforts from Russia, and then there was all these things that Russia did. And I understand the suspicion on that, but perhaps, maybe it's possible. I'm not sure. Perhaps they discovered some information that made them change their mind. Information that maybe later on was confirmed by not only the Mueller report, which I get the MAGA people calling that all BS, but a bipartisan congressional panel that was led by current Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who said that they bought all sorts of Facebook ads and did all sorts of things to spread misinformation. Now, did they hack our system? No. But that doesn't mean that they weren't doing their best to slam Hillary Clinton. Now, again, to shoot back to the Mueller report, he confirmed there was no collusion, right? Nothing between the Trump campaign at the time and the Russian government, which is helpful. But that there was definitely some efforts by Russia, and no shit, I mean, like, I feel like almost every country on the planet has a horse in the race of our elections, and they're all going to do their very best to try and get the candidate in office that they want. And I don't think that that's going to stop with Facebook ads or, misinformation campaigns, Reddit posts and obviously, this is just the way of the world. It's just how it goes down. So was there Russian interference? I mean, I don't even technically know, I guess, if you want to say, but did they spread misinformation about it? Sure. Yeah. Did they spread misinformation about Trump too? I mean, maybe, I don't know, probably. Did they want Trump in? It seems like it. It seems like they wanted Trump in and not Hillary, but Mueller said there was no collusion. Again, the bipartisan committee that was headed up by Marco Rubio at the time said, yeah, they tried to do some things, but there was no like official hacking or any sort of thing like that. That was it. So again, unless Tulsi Gabbard can point me to a document where Obama or somebody in the Obama administration says, hey, let's find some evidence that Trump colluded with Russia, unless that was directly said or insisted upon, you're talking about something that cannot be proven. It cannot be proved. It can't. Paul wants to correct the record here. What's the opposite of overruled? Sustained. Paul is objecting. Objection. Paul says Mueller said he didn't have enough evidence to charge due to construction. I believe that's supposed to be obstruction. Damn. When you're typing angrily, it's hard to get all the typing right. I don't. As somebody who never spells anything right, Paul, I'm not gonna crush you on that one. I think you meant obstruction. Sustained. I'll go along with that. Fine. However you want to word it, that's fine. He didn't have enough evidence, or there wasn't enough evidence to bring him forward a case. Fine, whatever it is. However you want to say it, it's fine with me. That's fine with me. If I misspoke, I apologize. I'm going to trust Paul on this. I think he's got a bigger finger on the pulse as far as that goes. Certainly, Paul has a better memory than I do, as has been evident by the last couple episodes here. So that's that. That's basically what it is. So Tulsi Gabbard, to again drop that nugget of information on Friday, which again is usually the day you put stuff out that you want to bury under the rug. But what I've noticed that people doing lately is using that Friday time to drop these huge bombshells just to change the course of conversation. Again, what I said on Friday's episode is, if you had the documents, why didn't those all go out on your tweet, on your X post, instead of just a graphic? And then the promise of, I'll be on Hannity later to fill everybody in. And again, certain outlets have been able to get their hands on these documents, but it's not been as open and honest as, hey, everybody, here's the link. Everybody can go download them. Because I know they can do that. They've done that before with document dumps. They've been like, hey, here it is. And we go and we download it and we look at it and we can independently evaluate it and we can see it. That was not the case with Tulsi Gabbard. So I'm not sure where Tulsi Gabbard sits on all of this, but I know she's clashed with the Trump administration, even though she's part of it. She's clashed with Trump in the past. She talked about the fact that there was no nuclear threat from Iran, and Trump came out and said she doesn't know what she's talking about, right? I'm paraphrasing there, but that's basically what happened a few weeks back. And it was kind of like Tulsi Gabbard was the belle of the ball in independent land, right? All the independents, like myself, I'm not a Tulsi Gabbard fan or hater. I don't really know much about her. I know she ran for a little while. I know she's very well respected. I know she served for us. I know she's gorgeous. I know she looks incredible in a blazer. I know that the one little gray hair thing really does it for your old pal Aunt. That's all I know. That's basically my information on Tulsi Gabbard. But with all that being said, she's taking orders from this administration. She is doing this administration's bidding at the moment, because for her to fire out a half-cocked plan or a half-cocked release, and again, if she really had, I get the 180. I see the 180 you're talking about in your graphic, right? With that one document, I don't see all the rest of it that is compelling enough to say you have a case to bring forward against Obama and his administration. Because without that, this is all just more rhetoric and hearsay and BS. That's on Friday. Now, on Monday, over 230,000 documents released on MLK when his own family was asking that they not do it. And now we got this on Monday. And I'm here to say it's all fine and well. Great. Thanks so much for all the info. Where's the Epstein files? Because none of this is distracting the people who really have their eye on the prize, which is your old pal Ed. Because I have nothing better to do. I wish I did. I really don't. I have track Epstein files, help plan daughter's 8th birthday party. That's it. And I got 2 weeks to do that. And I got news for you. Most of that shit is already done. Okay? I mean, that shit is in the bag. Descendants party. It's going to be good. I'm sorry I can't invite all of you guys because I think you'd crush it. I think we'd all have a great time together watching Descendants in our jammies in my living room with a bunch of 8-year-old girls. The 8-year-old girls might be annoying, but I'm just going to say this. The snacks are going to be killer. You would be like, I wish there wasn't that many screaming girls here. However, this popcorn is delightful. Is this gourmet? What did you put on here? And then I'm going to be like, I can't tell you. Just like my current administration and the Epstein files, you'll never know. So that's what I have to say about that. I appreciate and by the way, the MLK thing was the thing that everybody gave a shit about the least. And that's no slight against MLK. But the fact that our own government might have been in on perhaps killing a president, that is the big headline and razzmatazz with the JFK files. The fact that our own government silenced, helped silence the victims of the biggest sex trafficker we've ever seen on the planet Earth while protecting the elite and the rich. That's the razzmatazz we're looking for. The MLK thing, yeah, I'm curious about it too, but that's third on the call sheet. It's third, So, do you want me to live stream the Descendants party? I might. I couldn't show the kids. I couldn't show you my face during the whole party. It's going to be like this. I'm going to have cotton in I'm going to keep these headphones in. Noise canceling headphones. So that's my feeling on that. Tulsi Gabbard is doing this administration, and I don't know why, because again, you're talking about a veteran, right? A hero, somebody who served for our country. You got to really be careful when you're in that Trump orbit because you cannot get caught up in it. How many of his friends and associates go to jail for shit and he never does? I just feel like she's too smart for this. Yet here she is tap dancing away. Release this, release that, say this, say that. Friday was egregious. This was a good old college try. Friday, to put that graphic out about Obama and offer no further information to the general public was ridiculous. I mean, I could say that now. You had 4 more days to follow up with the information that you promised, and we got bupkis. Bupkis. I'm shocked by Tulsi Gabbard here. Again, just going by what other independents I know have said about her, to now see her acting like this, to me is a little ridiculous. And again, to everybody out there who's supporting the current administration, how do you support this? And I know most people aren't. I know most MAGA people are beating this. You got to release all the Epstein files drum as well. Okay, you want to hear the other awful, creepy thing regarding Epstein and the files? Today, Mike Johnson says, not only are we not going to vote to allow the Epstein files to be released. Remember Ro Khanna and everything, they put all that, they're putting bills together, they're putting bills on the floor, all that stuff. Johnson goes, not only are we not going to vote on that, we're not going to vote on anything else until Congress breaks in August. Okay? It's July 21st. So he's out there, Mike Johnson's out there talking about, oh, the administration and us, we're on the same page. We want the files released. We're glad the grand jury stuff is going to get released, or they're asking the judge to release the grand jury information for Jeffrey Epstein. Again, nice gesture. It's not everything. But the Republicans right now, the Republicans and this administration, they're so afraid that the Democrats are going to bring to the floor a vote to release the Epstein files as a whole, that they're not going to call a vote where that could even happen for the rest of their time until they go on their August break. Have you ever heard anything so ridiculous? They are so afraid of this information getting out that they are basically stopping the government. They're stopping all the business that Congress should be doing because they're afraid a Democrat is going to raise the vote on the floor to allow for the Epstein files to be released. For my MAGA friends out there, you can't look me in the eye and say you support this guy 100% anymore. You cannot look me in the eye and say this is what you voted for. You can't look me in the eye and say that your white knight is still clean in your eyes, because he's not. He's not. He's fighting awfully hard to hold all this shit back. This is ridiculous. Congress. And by the way, you want to talk about 180s? Mike Johnson just days ago was like, I think this shit stuff could come out. And then here he is today going, well, we're not going to be voting on anything anytime soon because, we want to give the administration the time to handle this correctly. Give me a fucking break. As my father used to say, when I was annoying the shit out of him after a long day at work, he'd be like, can you just give me a fucking break, please? Just give me a break. My dad didn't always say that. Sometimes he would say, hey, lucky kid, come on over here and pick some races in the Aqueduct Third tomorrow. I can't stand my fucking job. Help me out here. What did I have you for? It varied. We're not here to talk about my father. He's fine. He did just fine. Sometimes we picked winners and sometimes we just didn't go on vacation. Sometimes we had breakfast for dinner. That's my fault. I should know. Don't pick against the gray horses. Anyway, so Tulsi Gabbard, Mike Johnson, they've become embarrassments in my eyes. And I've tried to remain fair. I know, what's hilarious about that statement? There's MAGA people that are like, oh, TDS, this asshole. And then there's liberals that are like, now, you waited till now for Mike Johnson to disappoint me? I'm trying to be fair here. I'm trying to keep it even for everybody, So, Bert, Ann, are we siblings? My dad left for milk, and I think you found it at your mom's house. Quite possibly. I don't know. Send me a picture of your dad. If it's my dad, we'll have a long conversation. We will have a long conversation. Get the golf carts from the villages. They're still zipping around down there in those golf carts, I'll tell you what. Maria Farmer came out and said a bunch of stuff too. We don't have time to get into that at the moment. I'll keep our eye on the Maria Farmer stuff. She's basically saying everybody needs to be looked at, and it's like, yeah, thank you. And I don't want to take Maria Farmer down a notch. She's done some things to help expose the whole Epstein ring. So she's good in my eyes, but this whole fucking thing stinks. I can't believe that we're here and Congress is like, yeah, we're just not gonna. They literally can't chance any vote going to the floor where the Democrats could tack on something that says that the administration has to release the Epstein files. That's literally how afraid they, like, how long do you think you could run for? It's been, what are we at, 2 or 3 weeks? Are we at 2 weeks or 3 weeks since the DOJ released that embarrassment of a statement? It has gotten progressively worse every single day, and they've still not learned. Nobody is going to let up on this. Thanks for the MLK files and all, but until the Epstein files come out, you are not going to make your base happy. They're irate with you, and they should be. And for those that are still towing the line of, oh, it's not a big deal and there is nothing, or there's plenty of information out there already, there's no list, there's no this or there's no that. Look in the mirror, splash yourself in the face with cold water, and be a big boy or girl. And realize that this is a big deal. A big deal. It is a big thing. You're helping him protect all the monsters that were running roughshod around the youth of Florida, New York, and God knows whatever other location between Epstein and Jean-Luc Brunel and all these animals. You're helping protect that by acting like Trump's fine. Trump is okay. This is not okay. This is not okay. Lots of stuff that happens in the presidency and the administration. The right's going to love it. The left's going to hate it. The left's going to love it. The right's going to hate it. We could debate and go on forever. There's no debating this. There's protecting sleazeballs and not. Don't sit there on your high horse and act like we're making America great again and safe again by exporting violent, illegal criminals. That great. And where's the biggest threat we had to our children as a whole in the last like 40 years? Where's your stance on that, you fuckface? All right. You got to appreciate, not that I need your sympathy or your pity, but you have to appreciate, now that I've upset all the right people, I'm going to go and upset all the left people with the Meghan Markle thing, because I've noticed that the left loves Meghan Markle. Now, if you're on the left and you don't love Meghan Markle, please don't be offended. But I noticed in dealing with our new pal, JBT, JDB, OTB, that's all my father knew. I think it's JBT, JTB. I don't know. Today we released an onslaught of information, just highlights from our Friday episode, responding to our new pal, JTB. Somebody find out what it is. And we started tagging him in all of the posts. And I believe he answered one of them. He didn't answer me. One of his loyal followers tagged him in our post, which is really amazing considering that our TikTok account was just banned and we're currently sitting at 16 followers on TikTok. We started the new TikTok. By the way, if you can follow us, link in the description below. Follow our new TikTok, please. We are at Anthony on Air Pod on TikTok, at Anthony on Air Pod. 16 followers. And apparently one of them still, was able to go back and alert him, right? And he responded to her quote, and I responded to him something to the effect of, it's going to be a big day, big man. Like, get ready for it. And literally between 7 o'clock in the morning and 7 o'clock at night, I think we put out like 6 videos or 8 videos or whatever it was. I'm not even entirely sure. And, we just spreading the love back to him. And we ended with inviting him on this show. If JTB is listening or watching, first of all, let me know what you think of the shirt, because I feel like this is as fashion forward as I get, and you have Egyptian art on your wall, so you definitely have taste. Second of all, you can come on this podcast anytime and openly debate me, and I would gain a lot of respect for the notorious Jackie Treehorn if he were to come on this show, because it takes a lot of balls to do that. Because I was looking at one of the clips and Frank's like, is this guy a podcaster or whatever? And I don't think he is. I think he just makes videos. And it's weird to me if you just you're always putting out videos. Like, being live takes the net off. Being live, not being edited, not hiding behind edits. It's a lot harder to do. This is a lot harder to do than when you can sit there and record something and then edit it and get all your best takes and all that stuff, right? This isn't for perfectionists, right? If you're doing a podcast live, you got to be able to know something's going to be misspelled, something is going to be mispronounced, Viola. Shit's going to happen, and you better be able to deal with years of abuse, right? That go along with it. Still getting Viola. Our number one clothing line is the Viola shit, I think. I don't know. I haven't looked at it in a while. But that's going to happen. And a lot of people can't handle that. So I don't know if he can. But if he wants to come on this show, he will gain a little nugget of respect from me. And I would love to debate him on it, because this latest bit of information I have to share with you, oh, my friends. Oh, it's so good. It is so good, my friends. We're getting close. We're getting close. The day that Meghan Markle's show is canceled will be the day. That's the main course. That's the steak and lobster, right? Right now, I feel like we just sat down at the table and we got a whiff of all the food. And oh my God, what is this in front of me? The chef has sent over an amuse-bouche, not an appetizer, not a thing ordered, just here's a little something from this, a little amuse-bouche, little amuse-bouche, moosey-booshy, here's how the rest of the meal is going to go. Let me set the pace for you. I love a restaurant that gives them an amuse-bouche. I love when the chef is back there sweating his or her ass off. Okay. Huge fans, hot flames. Everybody's yelling, where's table 3 and all that. And he's like, or she's like, I'm going to send a little something out for the table for everybody. A little something for the table. Start the evening off right. Amuse-bouche. I could say it. Don't ask me to spell it. We're at the amuse-bouche right now. I know the steak and lobster's coming. I know the cancellation of our show is coming. But right now, we just have a tasty little succulent treat to get us started. And I can't wait to share it with you all. I also cannot wait till this little nugget of information hits our good pal JBT or JTB to get his response to it. Because from what I could surmise, all that guy does is make videos. Like, I thought I was special, but you look at like his other videos and he just picks on people who pick on Meghan Markle. And it's unfair to even say pick on Meghan Markle. Explain the truth behind Meghan Markle and give Meghan Markle what she has coming to her is really more accurate. But he just goes on there and defends them no matter what. The difference between the JBT and Fox News and MSNBC is nothing. Something happens, they disregard reality and facts, and they just think, how can I share this with my audience? Feeding them exactly what they want to hear. That's basically what JBT does. He's Fox News and MSNBC rolled up into one. How can I defend Meghan Markle despite all that she's done? How can I spin this to make her look good and make this person look like an idiot? That's basically what he does. That's what he does. That's what he tried to do with us. But we're not special. He does it with everybody. I can't do that. Again, first topic, I'm going to offend these people. Second topic, I'm going to offend these people. That's what comes with having a penchant for the truth or calling it like you see it, if you want to describe it that way. Right? Here's today's little nugget. Our friends over at Netflix informed me, along with other people, that they had ranked all of their shows on the streaming platform since the beginning of this year. Since January 2025 and June 2025, they've ranked all of the programs that they have on their streaming platform. And my friends, you might be thinking to yourself, Aunt, where does Meghan Markle fall on this? Is she top 5? Is she top 10? Certainly the way her blind sheep follow her and attack you, she must be top 20. She must be rolling in the dough, right? She's selling out on all these amazing products. She must be top 20. Not top 20. Meghan Markle didn't make the top 20 at Netflix. Well, she must be top 50. She didn't make top 50. She didn't make top 50. Could you believe it? Well, Aunt, it's a global streaming service. A lot of people watch it. Surely, with her popularity and the amount of amazing products she sells and her beautiful branding and all of the positivity just flowing out of her and touching all the Sussex army, she must be top 100. No, she didn't even make the top 100. Oh my gosh. Well, Aunt, I used to know music really well, and I know the top 200 was a good thing. If you had one of the 200 songs in a year, that was great. You know, they used to, the CHR chart, the Hot 100, the Hot 200 was a thing. Must be in the top 200. Must be. Let me double check. Hold on. I want to make sure I don't have this right. Let me double check and make sure. No, Meghan didn't make the top 200 either. Well, surely she must have made the top 300 because somebody of Meghan's stature with almost 4 million followers on Instagram and a following so loyal that they got the AOA TikTok banned. Okay. And, the positivity that she's reached throughout the world, everything, all the good that she's done, with Harry and getting him separated from his family and all the good. She must be top 300. She must be. Oh, no. Not top 300. Seems surprising, right? Because with all the people blindly following her and attacking me over how great and wonderful she is, surely she had to be top 300. No. 383. Meghan Markle's god-awful Netflix show has finished 383rd with a measly 5.3 million views since being released earlier this year. Oh, that must hurt. That must be terrible. Surely there must be some sort of a mistake. And perhaps you're reading this from one of those bad outlets that makes up things. Nope. Came right from, as they like to say in the biz, the old horse's mouth. Netflix themselves openly admitting that Meghan Markle's show has only hit 5.3 million views since it debuted earlier this year. Oh, I'm shocked. I can't believe it. Certainly by looking at all the comments in our podcasts and our clips with all the passion from Meghan, you would have thought it would have done way better than 383rd. 383rd. Shocking. That's surprising. Yeah. Another show that ranked right around there, Peaky Blinders. Now you might be thinking, that Peaky Blinders is a big show, right? Yeah. Has the same amount of views as Meghan Markle's show does for this year. But that show has been out for 11 years now. So an 11-year-old show is getting the same views as Meghan Markle's brand new lifestyle show. I'll say it again for those of you that are a little too slow to follow. This is the worst catastrophe to happen to Netflix ever. This is the worst thing to happen. Meghan Markle is the worst thing to happen to Netflix since Amazon Prime came out with their own video streaming service and NBC Peacock took back The Office. I mean, you name all the bad things to happen to Netflix, and Meghan Markle is number one on top of the list. And you mentioned something about a historic failure. This is the only show in the history of this streaming service to get a green light on a second season with numbers this low. Any other show that they've ever put out that has flopped this poorly has not only not been renewed, but has been stricken from the streaming service. They've gotten rid of it. Other failures like this, they have been so embarrassed, they have taken it off the streaming service, which I know is exactly what's going to happen once season 2 comes out and also fails miserably. That's exactly what's going to happen. Well, then, Ant, why are they even getting a season 2? Because they filmed 16 of these embarrassments and they decided to hold off on the second 8 to see if her product line got any traction. And as we now well know, when you just put 50 things on sale and they sell out in 2 seconds, that's not exactly an overwhelming success. It's just not. This is all, and again, we got this from Ted Sarandos's mouth. He's the leader of Netflix. For those of you Meghan fans that just follow blindly and don't know any of the facts. He said what we're doing with Meghan Markle is more of a shopping experiment. Because the deal that they made with her after they made the original deal, which went so horribly wrong, was that they would get a piece of what she sold in order for them to recoup the initial money that they laid out to pay her and Harry, which, once again, is the worst deal that they've made in the history of their company. The absolute worst. It's the worst. This whole thing for Ted Sarandos is let's see if we could recoup our money if we get a piece of her honey and spread sales. But as we've seen so far, because everything else she has touched has turned to shit, is not going well. And I don't think that they have much hope for this, even with the Netflix marketing machine behind her. Because 5.3 million streams, that is embarrassing. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. There's no two ways. There's no two ways about it. It's embarrassing. It is completely embarrassing. It went into the top 10 the first day it was on. It fell out of the top 10 after that, and nobody has watched it since. And even for those, again, because you can go into, well, you could have gone into my old TikTok comments, not so much anymore. But if you go into our Instagram comments, you'll see people shitting all over us, like, whatever, bad publicity is good publicity. You're hate watching. You're even our own AOA holes. You guys have even said, Aunt, you're going to drive her numbers up because you're still talking about her, even though you're shitting on her. Apparently not. Apparently people don't like to see shit TV no matter what it is, you know? So I continue. She's a scam. This show's a scam. It's total bullshit. And season 2 will come and go very quickly. And 3 months after that, we'll probably never hear from this whole entire thing ever again. I would be amazed if they left this shit on the streaming service for the long haul, because I think they're going to scrub this from their platform completely when the time comes. Because I think when you promote a cooking show and the host of the cooking show is arranging fruit on a platter and sprinkling sprinkles on top of blueberries, which won't stick, it's a fucking embarrassment. It's an absolute embarrassment. I'm not going to go down the whole thing again. I know you people are tired of hearing my rage, but I'm assuming that more people are going to check this segment out, having the fact that we just did a little dance with JBT and all the JBT people are going to be talking about this. I hope JBT is watching. I want to hear how you're going to spin this. White guy, white misogynist, racist asshole reads facts about Meghan Markle on podcast. How dare he? This is I will say, you won't hear me copping to this often, but the fact that I just read the facts that came directly from Netflix on her show ranking 383rd is just about the most racist, misogynist, and sexist thing I've ever done in my life. That is it. You convict me. You can convict me of that. Isn't hate crime, isn't that when you do something bad based on race, that's like a hate crime? You can send me a subpoena, lock me up, put out a warrant for my arrest. I want that warrant to read, how dare you read factual information from the parent company of a person who is a different sex and race than you racist, misogynist, sexist bastard. Is misogyny and sexism, am I just saying the same thing over and over again, or is there a slight difference between those two? I know they're both bad. I know I'm both of them. I'm clearly racist. This is the most racist thing I've ever done. I'm going to have to call and apologize. Should I call my mom right now and apologize? The fact that she brought up such a horrific racist like me to read stats from a streaming service that has, what did JBT call her? The poor black woman who's just trying to market her products. The fact that I would do that, I would be amazed if anybody not of Italian descent ever watched or listened to me again, because I can turn on your race in a dime. And as I've showed it here tonight, you know what I'm saying? Outside of the Italian people, I'll do anything to ruin another race just based off of race alone. You know what I'm saying? I'm crazy. Crazy racist Anthony, right here. I should have said Meghan Markle races into the top 400 of Netflix streaming so far this year. Let's celebrate the queen. Way to go, everybody. Edible flowers for the table. Everybody get ready. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of shit, you know? I love Mercury. Don't upset your mom. Too late, Merc. Too late. Oh, I thought that said don't disappoint. Sorry. Does Megan hate Columbus? Oh my God. Yeah, a lot of people hate Columbus, though. I'm okay with that. Trying to think, was that everything? I think that's everything. Actually, let me tell you something. I feel so bad. I feel so bad for Netflix, for this $1 billion company. I feel like we should raise a GoFundMe. I know there's a lot more important causes out there, but I would love, let me tell you what my fantasy would be, that we put a GoFundMe out and it catches such a viral run that we raised $100 million to pay back to Netflix so that they don't have to worry about losing $100 million to this fucking idiot and her poor husband, because they scammed them out of that money. Oh my God. The second she never named who said the racist shit in the royal family, they must have been like, oh, we fucked up. We fell for a con man or a con woman, con person. Is she helping tank Netflix stock? Maybe she's playing 4D chess with us, everybody. This is 4D chess to make it look like she doesn't know what she's doing. Then she's going to come roaring back with season 2, and we're just going to be knocked off our feet. I'm sure that's what it is. Oh, it's a good day. Oh, it's a good day. It is a good day. I feel like we could put this podcast on Netflix and we would immediately rank better than her. I'm not 100% sure on how many we've certainly done more shows, so this is a little unfair. But I would imagine, again, I also didn't marry into the royal family, okay? So it's kind of maybe almost even. But I bet you if I put this show's downloads and streams up against her streams for the year, I bet you we would be winning. I have a strong feeling we've got more than 5 million views for the year. And listen, I don't want to get out of hand. Some podcasts have 5 million views per episode. God bless them. I wish we were there. We're not there yet. But we are, it's fair to say, a little bit ahead of that Meghan Markle, to be totally honest with you. I think that's a realistic thing that she's probably coming to terms with. And listen, I don't wish her bad. And I know you're gonna be stunned to hear that. I wish she finds happiness. I hope she remains healthy. I just wish she would go away. I wish she would find whatever her true purpose is in this world and follow that, because it's not launching a lifestyle brand or hosting a cooking show. Maybe it's just being the 4th or 5th lead on a TV show. There's nothing wrong with that. By the way, the life she had prior to marrying Prince Harry was that's a life to be proud of. You know how many great actors just went by guest starring on shows and being the fucking 5th lead on a bunch of shows that got canceled? She was the 5th lead on a massively successful show that, by the way, had like 10 lives, found new life on Netflix. Netflix relaunched Suits. And as somebody who just watched Suits and fell in love with it, bonded with my dad after he got hurt over Suits, that show will always have a special place in my heart. She was a big part of it. She stunk. None of her storylines were ever great, but let's put my own personal feelings on her side. That doesn't take away from what she had. She had a great spot there. A great spot. Why not just be that? You know how many people would kill for that? Honestly, do you know how many people would just kill for that? There's so many actors that don't make it that far. Why couldn't she just be happy with that? Why? I'll never understand it. I'll never understand it. I don't know. All these things she's going out and trying to be. Listen, there's a lot of fake it till you make it. The first 5 years of my radio career were fake it till you make it. The middle 5 years were definitely fake it till you make it. And then the last 7 were also fake it till you make it. So there's a lot of fake it till you make it. You can't do that when you start off at the stature that she started off in. And you also can't accuse people of being racist and not take it the full way. You can't operate like that. You can't claim to be a victim when you're not, when real people are out there suffering. You can't claim woe is me for having to hold a suitcase for a 12-hour day when there's people that are being abused and killed and beaten. Yeah, I mean, it's absurd. And she wants us to feel bad for her. If I don't get off this topic now, we'll never get off it. I hope JBT understands that. I hope when you sit there and you lambaste other people for having an opinion on this person, for being crazy and wrong and misogynist and racist, I hope you realize that maybe you should look in the mirror. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe you're wrong. I don't know which one I like better. Fuck it till you cuck it or cuck it until you cuck it. I don't know which one is better, Bird and Linderella. I'm going to give you guys a tied for first on that one. That was really, really good. That was really, really good. Malcolm Jamal Warner. How sad is this? Drowns to death while on vacation, I think in Costa Rica with his family. I don't know if we have too much of the details just yet, but really, really sad. You read stuff about this guy. He's like a motivational speaker. Supposedly he had a podcast too. I did not know that, but it was loved. I will tell you again, my dad gets injured. We thought we were going to lose him. We thought he was dead. He makes this miraculous recovery. I fly down to Florida with him. It's a rough couple of days. Finally starts to get his bearings, and he had been trying to get me to watch Suits for the longest time. So we finally put it on, and immediately after the first episode, I'm hooked. If you're looking for a show to just lose yourself in, go to Suits. It's great. The same shit happens every episode, every season, basically, but it's so good you don't even mind. You don't even care that all the shows end the same way. Doesn't even matter. It's so good. And season, I don't even know, 5 or 6, late in the show, or late in the series run, one of the characters gets put in a situation, and then Malcolm Jamal Warner comes on screen. And I just remember seeing him and going, Malcolm Jamal Warner. This is great. He's so great in that show. He's got a minor little part. He's in maybe 4 or 5 episodes, if that. But he plays off of one of the main characters, and he's so good. And I remember watching that, and I know Suits hasn't been on for a while, but I remember watching it thinking, I'm so glad he's still acting. Because every time you get these kid actors, it never really ends well for them. There's not many where you can be like, oh, they're still doing good work. And you could be happy when you see them on screen. That's how I felt with Malcolm Jamal Warner, seeing him on Suits. I thought he was really, really good. And to be fair, I mean, he worked pretty steady for a majority of his career. You know, he was on 911 last year, Grownish. I guess there was a Wonder Years reboot. He was on that in 2023. The Resident, I think that's like a doctor show. He was doing voices on Puppy Dog Pals. That's huge. If you've had a baby in the last 10 years, you know Puppy Dog Pals. That's massive. Sneaky Pete. So he's worked. He's had a career, you know. He's done really well. He did 6 episodes on Suits, and he was great in every single one of them. And he played a good character, too, where it's like, can you trust this guy? I don't know. He's so smiley and calm and nice looking. Like, you think you could trust him, but then he does things in the show, and you're like, I don't know if I can trust this guy. And the whole time we were trying to figure out if you can trust him or not, you're just thinking, this guy can fucking act. You know, this guy could do it. So it's really, really sad to see him go. He was obviously like totally beloved. He was basically the polar opposite of Meghan Markle. Nobody really had a problem with him. I'm trying to think if we could find one person who's like, oh, that Malcolm Jamal Warner was a real dick. I mean, everybody seemed to be in love and in awe with this guy, which is sad to see him go. If you had to choose when you were going to die, would you prefer to die on vacation or not on vacation? I don't know, like, what, because vacation, I feel like as a person is the best that it gets, right? Most of us out there working 50 weeks out of the year, right? You get those 2 weeks, maybe 3, maybe you get up to 4 eventually in your career. But a lot of us go in, day out, 8, 10, 12-hour days, whatever you're working. Sometimes it's 5 days a week. Sometimes it's 6 or 7 days a week. Again, you want to laugh. Starting my radio career, I worked 4 months straight, 4 months without a day off. I just wanted to do it so bad. I didn't take a day off. I was like, I'm just going to do this, you know, because I loved it. And it's tough. Work is tough. So vacation is like, you know, because you get days off, you know, if you get 2 days off or a day off in your career, it's great. But then you're right back into it. When you get to take that week off, sometimes maybe people take 2, right? Oh, it's so good. Maybe you're lucky enough to take a trip. Maybe you're lucky enough to go to a beach or a nice resort or something, and you put your toes in the water or whatever it is. It's like that feeling of relaxation, that feeling of just like letting your daily stresses go. That's as good as you're going to get it. Is that the time to check out? Listen, nobody wants to die, right? But if you had to choose, first of all, I guess the question is, would you choose? Because I don't want to know. I don't want to make this choice. But would you choose vacation time or non-vacation time? I can't imagine dying in the break room floor. You know what I'm saying? I can't imagine heading into the pencil room for some more reams of paper, taking a heart attack and fucking keeling over in that closet. Like, that would be so miserable to me. I kind of feel like if you're so super relaxed and you're on vacation or you're seeing some cool, amazing shit and you happen to check out, oh, this is a good point from Lindarella. This is a good point. If it's going to be vacation, end of vacation. I didn't think of that. Nobody wants to check out on day 2 of a fucking week-long vacation. That's a good point. I think we could all agree on that one. That's really good. Debbie writes, for me, yes, not for my family, though. Yeah, that sucked. That's going to ruin the vacation for everybody else. That's also a good point. Great, you went to go out nice and peacefully, but now all of a sudden, you know, cousin Meredith and everybody's got to pack it all in and go home because they can't continue to enjoy Punta Cana with your fucking corpse being loaded up onto the plane the next day. That's going to drag the whole fucking thing down. I get it. That's a little rough for everybody else. After vacation's a good idea. The day you land, I mean, that's miserable enough. But is there anything more depressing than when you're leaving vacation? Oh my God, that's brutal. Leaving vacation is so, I don't care for that. That's why I haven't gone to Italy. I'm afraid if I go to Italy, I won't come back. I'm afraid if I go to Italy, because I see pictures of that Lake Como there over there. It's Lake Andrew Cuomo, where the water is a little too touchy-feely, right? A little too touchy-feely for everybody's comfort. I see pictures of that fucking place, and I go, I don't know if I would ever leave there. And then you see these things. Here's Vito. He's 127 years old. He eats nothing but macaroni and meatballs every day long for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He's got guanciale, just nothing but bacon, fat, and espresso. And he should have been dead 40 years ago, but he's still fucking here because the view is so gorgeous. Why would he want to die? And you look at these people and you're like, fuck, I don't know if I could ever leave there. Vito's 193 years old, but he takes a walk down to the water every single day, puts his toes in the water, shit like that. I don't know. How could you leave that shit? So I don't know. Question of the episode is, if you could pick the time, would you? And would you pick vacation or work time? Because I would opt for, I can't pick a time to die. I'm hoping for sleep. Is the majority of people just rooting for sleep? Are we all just rooting for sleep? Should we get off this kick thing? We tried, what's the other one? What's the other stupid fucking thing that we did? I can't even remember what it was. It was the other big streaming platform. We went on that one for a while. That one stunk. We couldn't get any. If you're not playing video games on that one, it doesn't work. And then our provider is like, we're on Kick now. So, all right, we'll go on Kick. We'll try. But all these fucking things are about people wanting to buy us followers. I feel like every fifth. Is this the same person? No, it's not. It's like a bunch of different people. These Kick comments are so annoying. Look at this. Hey, friend, I can help you get 25 real subscribers in just 3 days. No. This is kind of a cool thing, though. I didn't know you could do that. Can you do that? I don't think you could do that on YouTube. Everybody tells me the Kick is the new YouTube, but the comments are a little annoying, I think. I like Paul. I'm not dying alone. I'm taking the government with me. That's amazing. Yeah, I like that. I feel like most of us are rooting for sleep, though. Are we not? Like, just want to go into sleep. Just want to go down for a nice little snoozer. Just never wake up again. That's the way to go. I'm afraid I'm going to die on the toilet. If I could be totally honest with you, I feel like I shouldn't say this, but, now that it's out there, it feels like toilet's terrifying to me. I don't want to die taking a shit. And I don't know if this is an Italian thing or not, but I feel like a lot of us check out on the toilet. It's all the carbs. You know what I'm saying? It's not enough roughage in our diet, basically. You push too hard and then you bust a valve up there on the old noggin, and then that's next thing you know, your family's finding you keeled over on the toilet. Just pants around your ankles. Room smells like shit. It's the worst way to go. Oh, I'm just rooting for that sleep. Oh, rooting for it. Just rooting for that sleep and death. All right. Last thing I want to leave everybody with. This is timely. We're about 20 minutes away from this. On the CBS Late Show thing, I don't know what's going to happen with Colbert and the Late Show. There seems to be a movement now to rally around Stephen Colbert. Like I heard Fallon and a bunch of people say they're all going to go on the show to try and up the rating. It's so weird for Fallon to be like, I'm going to go on my competitor's show and try and up his ratings. Like, that's really weird. Can I tell you something? I actually think that's part of the problem. I actually think it's part of the problem of why Colbert was canceled. Because this class of late show hosts, Colbert, Kimmel, Fallon, Myers, right? All these guys, they banded together during the pandemic and did a podcast together. They're always supporting each other and going on everybody's show. I get, and the majority of this is a splintered media landscape. It's no longer the days of Carson where there was one choice, or Letterman and Leno where there were two. Now there's a billion between podcasting and streaming platforms and all this stuff out there. There's just a billion things to tune into at night now instead of the late shows. That's a majority of it. But I can't help but think a part of it is because all those guys got along. I think if those guys were feuding with each other, it would have been a lot more interesting and we would have been tuned in. We would have been locked in. Remember when Leno and Conan were going at it? When Leno and Letterman were going at it? When Leno and Conan broke out and Kimmel jumped in and Letterman jumped in and everybody was all over that, you didn't miss a second of the late night shows. And even if you didn't watch it live, you were catching the clips. You didn't miss a clip. That animosity, I hate to say it, but we're animals at heart. We like to see people fighting. That was good shit. The fact that they all got along, I don't think helped. I think it led to those ratings just going down horribly. But I want you to keep this in mind. All this stuff broke about Colbert. And tonight, I'm assuming he has a live episode. I don't even know. But tonight, he's going on The Daily Show with Jon Stewart. And everybody is starting to buzz about and discuss what's Jon Stewart going to say about this. Because this idea that they canceled Colbert because of the Trump administration and needing, him not wanting to be criticized by Colbert being an enemy, being able to eliminate him in order to get Paramount, the parent company of CBS, to get their merger in. That's not going away, that rumor. And I don't know if it's true or not. I think it's the money thing, but I'm not going to put my reputation on that it's not the other thing. It's entirely possible. I would think that it's not that, because I would have assumed that they would have named a successor to Colbert if it was. Like if it was, Colbert is just an issue. If it was like, it's just a Colbert issue, then I would assume that they would have named somebody to take over for him, but they haven't. But that's not to say that they won't in the future. You can't put it past anybody for them to be like, yeah, Colbert's fired. And then this merger goes through, and then all of a sudden they either do one of two things. They say, hey, we found this new person and we're going to try them out. Or they go, you know what? Colbert was able to right the financial ship and we'll keep him on. That's not out of the realm of possibility. It's really not. So I don't really know what to think, but I also think that, people have been talking about Jon Stewart is in his I don't give a fuck era, which I totally agree with. Like, he's got more money than anything. I think he came back to do the Monday show on The Daily Show just because he loves it, just because he wants to maintain that voice and, and all that stuff. I'm really gonna tune in to see what Colbert does on not only what Colbert does, but what Jon Stewart does. Because I don't doubt that he's going to go to bat for his buddy, but I want to see what he does. Does he have factual information? Can he prove that the Trump administration made this ask? I don't think so. It'd be hard to do. Can he show the financials behind the show and prove that they're making money and they're not losing money? That would certainly go a long way to prove. You might not be able to get the administration catch their hand in the cookie jar with asking for this, but if you can catch those slick CBS executives, and believe me, I've worked for CBS and every other media executive, there are some shitty people. Some of the shittiest people work in entertainment behind the scenes that do really shystery stuff. So I don't put it beyond anybody. I think it's still financial. I don't think Colbert ever really caught on, to be totally honest with you. And he's not my favorite. Has nothing to do with his political humor at all. As Broccoli Rob, I love him. I think Stephen Colbert as a person is funny. I just don't think his show was ever that great. He never had that standout thing that was like, I have to go to him for this. Fallon's got that stuff. Conan certainly has. Letterman absolutely has. Kimmel has. He never did. He never had He got lucky with stuff. He did great segments. He did some great interviews. I think him having what's his name as the band leader, the guy with the hair that I like, Jean Baptiste. That was the best thing he ever did. Was putting him, giving him a bigger platform. That was the best thing that he ever did. And that you can't have a successful show that way because you picked the best, the most musically talented sidekick. You know what I'm saying? They might have a replacement and they're just not saying. I don't know. It's such a fluid thing. And again, like I said, you can't pull out of the realm of possibility that they'll keep him or they'll just announce somebody else to come in and do something else. But again, in our era of Rogan, McAfee, Barstool Sports, Caller Daddy, all of these internet personalities getting a crack. And you look at some of the internet personalities who have gone to try and do. There was that girl who I loved. She was always so funny. I can't remember her name. But they gave her the show after Seth Meyers for a little while. And it tanked and went nowhere. And she was so funny on YouTube. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? I can't remember her name, but she was so talented. I used to watch her videos and think she's so funny. And then they gave her the 1:30 show. And I was like, I hope the 1:30 show doesn't ruin her career. Like, I was not worried about her ruining the 1:30 show because that was Carson Daly's whole thing. And he was barely even doing it. Like, by the time Carson Daly gave up that show, he was already on the Today Show. They would pre-record the shit out of that show. Anybody remember who that lady was? I think they canceled her right around the pandemic time, I want to say. Can't remember her fucking name. Anyway. She was great. And the thing that didn't work is they tried to take an internet personality and put it into a format that was made for television for 30 years ago. I think if you're going, and obviously I'm biased by this, but I think if you're going to replace Colbert, I think a podcast, no bullshit, is the way to go. And you're like, you're not going to get the Colbert job. I know. But I say it because, I'm not talking about Taylor Tomlinson, but Taylor Tomlinson is so fucking funny. And Taylor Tomlinson couldn't make the old fat English guy slot work. Taylor Tomlinson, her stand-up, her interviews, even clips from her show are so fucking great. The format is almost dead. There's not enough left in there. Even Taylor Tomlinson, as hilarious as she is, couldn't keep it going. I'm going to look up the name of the girl who I'm thinking of, the YouTube girl. But Taylor Tomlinson's a great stand-up comedian. I was hoping for the best for her. Obviously, shitty lead-in. There are a lot of things going against her, but she's so fucking funny. But my point is, people just want content. People just want, they all want to know. It's kind of why you guys tune into this show, right? What happened today? What are other people talking about? And not just to hear what I'm saying or Frankie's saying or Jay Sabs or Aaron, but also what everybody else is saying. What's Paul saying? What's Lindarella saying? What's Flying White, Bird, Robin, everybody, Merck, everybody, Miss Justice. What is everybody saying? Everybody wants to connect. There's no more financially feasible way to do that than a podcast. And I'm not saying even just the way we do it, but you look at Flagrant and what's his name is doing with Flagrant and all these things, that's the most affordable way to do it. Having a band with, 12 members, an announcer, a host, a co-host, stage director, this, that. I mean, think about the production of a show. It makes it financially not so feasible. But if you're we've got 3 cameras, we've got a couple of mics and chairs, and talented people just giving you good content on it. Lily Singh, thank you, Chris Warren. Lily Singh. I kept saying talks in my head, Becky talks. Lily Singh, that's it. That's the fucking name. Lily Singh is so fucking great. She was so talented. I think she's just an actress now, right? Isn't she doing like acting and stuff like that? I don't know if she ever went back to her YouTube show. I hope she made enough financially because she was so. I watched her come up. She was so great back in the day. I've lost touch with her. Not her fault, mine. But I just remember her getting her show canceled and being. I hated it. I was like, they ruined her. You know, you see an internet personality get put into a mold of, again, TV from 30 years ago, and you're like, oh, fuck, it's never going to work. And then when it doesn't work, you're like, shit, see, she would have probably been better off continuing to grow her YouTube channel and probably making more money that way. You know, Lily Singh. Thank you, Chris Warren. Oh my God, you saved me from a restless night of sleep. Anyway, I digress. I'm going on and on, but the point is, you need what we all agree is today's most modern and convenient and financially feasible way to execute content. And that's people in a microphone, simple lighting, simple people, just rely on the content, use the bits, use the clips. You could probably have a way, you can probably have late night survive via podcast form for another 10 to 15 to 20 years if you make that transition now. When you think about it, I was going to say, we're hearkening back to the Carson days, but we're hearkening back to the Jack Parr days. I mean, we're going back to pre-Carson with the format of some of these shows. And what we're learning from today's generations, they're not down for it that much anymore. They're really just, they're not buying into it as much as they used to. Everything has changed so much around the game. The game is unrecognizable. It's time that the game starts to change a little bit too. So we'll see what comes up on Colbert on the Daily Show coming up in just a few minutes here in the East at the time of our broadcast, of course. Follow us on the new TikTok. Link in the description below. It's at Anthony On Air Pod. Please get us over the embarrassing 16 followers that we started with. We started our new account just a few days ago. And also, the AOA blog is up and running with lots of great stuff, including what to watch on streaming this week. That's right. We outlined what every streaming platform is going to be putting out. Lots of other people do that. We decided we're going to start doing it too, just because I always want to know what to watch and I can never find it. So now one of the things we're going to put out on the blog is going to be that. Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out this week. Trailer and all the trailers for all the shows coming out is up on the AOA podcast blog. Find it at anthonyonair.com. That's anthonyonair.com. You guys have a great Taco Tuesday. I'll be back with you here on Wednesday.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we should go now.
Go ahead.